back to this Christian Homemaker. My name is Christian, and in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you what we eat in a week. But first, I would love to share a verse with you. But the Lord takes pleasure in those who fear him, and those who hope in his steadfast love. Psalm 147:11. Today is Resurrection Sunday, so it is early in the morning, and I am just going to go ahead and get everything prepped and ready to go. This is going to be a somewhat of a crock pot meal because we are going to be going to church, and we also afterwards have to go over to our family member's house where we will be having a lunch with them. So I just wanted to prep something and get it ready so when we get back it will just be easy to serve and we don't have to do much. I am making a roast in the crock pot, and it's going to kind of be like Mississippi style roast. I didn't really follow a specific recipe for the roast. I just kind of do what I like and the seasonings that I like. So right here, I made the dough last night and it just rose on the counter overnight. But it's supposed to be like a hot cross buns, but I did not have time to make the hot cross that afternoon. So I'm just rolling up the dough and making those into some rolls. This recipe I probably will not be using again. It just had way too much nutmeg. It was good, but I think next time I'm going to omit that nutmeg because, yeah, it just wasn't the best. But I added chocolate chips into it because I thought it would be like a yummy little treat or something like that as well. So I'm prepping that this morning as well and just getting that ready to go. And when I get back from church, I'm just going to stick those in the fridge until we get home later that evening where I can stick it in the oven. So here I'm just putting some seasonings on my roast. I put garlic powder, onion powder, basil, and I chopped up some carrots and onions the night before to make it easier in the morning, as well as salt, and I'm going to add some beef broth to that and a stick of butter. And that will cook on low all day long until we get back home, so about 8 hours. Now where our family lives, it's about an hour away, so it is pretty late. I would say, it's around 5 o'clock right now, maybe. I don't even remember. But it was a little late. We weren't really all that hungry, but my kids were a little hungry, so I went ahead and finished prepping dinner for that evening. I made some maple vinaigrette dressing to go with a salad. I just topped it off the salad with some apples, and I also added some cranberries. For our Resurrection Sunday dinner, the roast actually ended up turning out so good, and we ended up eating that for lunch for the next 2 days, and it was just nice and tender and just full of flavor. We really enjoyed that. I couldn't decide if I wanted to cook roast or ham for our Resurrection Sunday dinner, but I think we made a great choice, and the roast was it. For this next meal, this is one of our favorites in this house. It is chicken fritters, and we just paired it with some mashed sweet potatoes as well as some green beans. I don't know, I just found this one recipe and I will link it below, but it is really just so good, so delicious. So I was going ahead and prepping those sweet potatoes. I got them washed and cut up, and the chicken, I don't know if you know this tip or not, but like anytime that I can, just to save some time in the afternoons, I will put chicken in the crock pot the morning of, and I will later just shred it with a hand mixer. It is wonderful, and I don't know if you knew that or not, but it's just a wonderful way of just shredding chicken really fast if you're on a time crunch. We actually had a really bad storm come through on this particular morning around 3 a.m. We live in the middle Georgia area, and tornado sirens were going off. However, that is not what woke me up. It was the wind. There was a tornado that actually touched down about 10 minutes from where we live. But thankfully, the Lord was protecting us and no one got hurt. And there was a minimum amount of damage done. We lost some shingles in the house, but that can be fixed. The last windstorm actually that came through here a few months ago took one whole side of our fence down. So thankfully it's not the worst case. So we have been up for a good while today. Okay, so I don't know if you've ever made mayo before, but it is super easy. You can find plenty of recipes online or on Pinterest. I can't really tell you what recipe I use. I kind of just wing it. Anyways, and really all you need is an immersion blender and just blend it up, and it just becomes really thick and just so good and so easy to make and store in the fridge for anything that you need. And it's cheaper and healthier than store-bought. For these chicken fritters, all you're going to really need is the mayo, all-purpose flour, the recipe calls for fresh dill, but I just use dry dill or ground dill. And then you need salt, eggs, and that's really it. Other than your chicken, I think I said chicken, I don't know. But it makes about 16 to 18 fritters, and I usually just double this recipe so we can have lunch the next day. For the smashed sweet potatoes, the only thing that I add in that is usually brown sugar, cinnamon, and butter. And that makes it so delicious, so good, and my whole family loves it. To go with our chicken fritters, I made this garlic aioli dip, and that was 1/3 cup of mayo, some garlic, lemon juice, ground dill weeds, and salt. It's really good, and the recipe that I'm linking will have that as well. You should give it a try if you make this recipe. For this next meal, we are making nacho tacos, and we do a taco meal every single week. It is one thing that I always do. It just makes it easier, and that's how I plan, but I always change it up. So it could be salsa chicken tacos, regular tacos, taco soup, taco pasta, and like this, nacho tacos or enchiladas and quesadillas. Okay, you get the point. But we do a taco type meal once a week. So, and that's usually Taco Tuesday is when we actually make some type of taco meal. As a homemaker, I always try to find ways to save money at home, and one of those is making my own taco seasoning. I used to buy the Siete brand taco seasoning packs. However, I just find that it's actually really easy to make your own taco seasoning. So what I use is just chili powder, cumin, onion powder, garlic powder, and salt. That is it. And I actually just eye the ingredients. I don't really follow a specific recipe for that. However, that is just the way I do it. We love it. It's good. It's healthy. It's delicious. And yeah, that's how we make our taco seasoning. Our toppings are normally some type of lettuce or greens, some cheese, yogurt, usually plain yogurt to use as sour cream, and as well as some salsa to go on there. That's usually what we do. Brent, what do you like to have on top of your tacos? I'd love to know. This next recipe I will also link in my description box. It is curry chicken over rice. And I actually got this meal idea from Now That We're a Family. I don't know if you've heard of them. However, it's an awesome podcast about family and motherhood and just raising up children in the admonition of the Lord. So if you haven't checked them out, I would definitely recommend going over there and listening to them. They have some really good, wise words to say about parenting and motherhood and all of that. So, anyways, curry chicken, it is so good. I don't use everything in the recipe that it calls for, However, it is pretty close, but it's honestly really delicious. I brought 4 cups of water to a boil, and then I added 2 cups of rice for my family of 4, then added some salt and put that on simmer. And while that was simmering, I went ahead, after my chicken got done cooking, I added chicken broth as well as some curry powder and ginger to the skillet. I added in some frozen peas. I do try to add in some greens some way, somehow to every single meal. I just felt like that would just be more beneficial and nutritious for our family. So this is honestly really good. And yeah, so like I said, I'm going to link that recipe below. It's not specifically what I did. However, it is one that I have tried and liked. The last recipe that I'll be sharing with you in today's video is burger bowls. This is another recipe that we have on repeat in our house. We just love it, the kids love it, and it's healthy, nutritious, and just a wonderful all-around meal. For the french fries, I normally just cut up some potatoes or some russet potatoes and get those all diced up. I make a lot of french fries because my family just really loves them, and usually what I make for dinner, I try to make a bigger batch of it because the next day we like to have it for lunch, and I just want to make sure that we have enough to eat that night and as well as the next day. So for my french fries, I really just like putting some avocado oil on it, salt and garlic powder, and then I bake that on 375, and then normally I'll probably bump up the temperature to probably 415 after a while. While the french fries are baking, I went ahead and started prepping all the other stuff that's going to go on the burger bowls. That is lettuce. Who doesn't have a burger without lettuce? I'm just kidding. Some people don't like lettuce. As well as some onions. And my husband did say I forgot the tomatoes. Yes, I forgot the tomatoes. But like I said, that's something that some people don't like. Everybody likes tomatoes in my family. I do like them, but I'm one of those that I'm not obsessed with them. But my kids and my husband are. What makes the burger bowls taste so good is the burger sauce. And how I'm making that is 1/4 cup of mayo, 2 tablespoons of ketchup, and 1 tablespoon of mustard. Give that a big mix, and there you got some burger sauce. For the burger meat, I added in some onions, as well as some garlic powder, salt, and onion powder. And that's really all I added for the meat mixture. You serve this meal like you're deconstructing an actual burger. You can also add different other ingredients or toppings like avocado or just some more mayo on the side, just kind of however you like your burger. Anyways, I hope that gives you some meal inspiration for the week, and I will see you next week.